Monday night at the Troubadour, man. It's gonna blow your mind. Be totally packed. You'll love it. It's a bit different from what I expected.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to our fourth day of Leading Through Disruption, Managing Remotely. It's the New Normal. This is Kate Bellevue here. I'm joined today by George Miner from Rewards and Recognition, and we have an exciting topic today: low cost to no cost ways to recognize employees. I want to start off by saying these micro-learning project videos or sessions are 15 minutes that we are using to connect with you to provide thought-provoking ideas and value-added skills that you can use professionally and in some cases personally. And especially today, it's always a good idea, especially in the middle of a pandemic, to recognize not only your colleagues, but people in your life. So with that, today's session is being recorded. So if you or your colleagues weren't able to make it to one or more of our sessions this week, you'll be able to check them out on our website. We'll let you know when they are available for viewing. And at the end of today's session, we will send out some additional resources. But without further ado, I am going to introduce you to George Miner. George is one of our HR specialists in Rewards and Recognition, and he has been kind enough to join me today to talk about how we can recognize our employees. George has been at UVA for 14 years and was asked to join Rewards and Recognition about 8 or 9 years ago to build the program that we now know as U-Team. George not only loves to work with his colleagues, but to be able to recognize the staff and faculty at UVA and in the medical center. So he also shared with me that he would describe himself as an introvert and likes to be recognized privately. We'll talk about why that's important later today, but it's important to know why or how your staff and like to be recognized. So without further ado, hi, George. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you. How are you all? Great. Hello, everyone. First.
Oh, sorry, George. If I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you, but if you could start us off by talking about this feedback and recognition framework that you guys built out.
Absolutely. First, we would like to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. By you being here, you're showing that you feel that recognition is important. It has been reported that those companies who show recognition has less turnover than those who do not. And with this first slide here, you're showing that the need of recognizing in a timely manner. So we want to make sure that recognition is meaningful, respectful, and timely. And we want to recognize efforts and reward results, because it is a part of your colleagues' benefit to recognize them and let them know that when they are going above and beyond and doing great work. And this slide here is reward results special recognition. This just give you some examples of certain type of, just examples of when to recognize your colleagues. Like if a team member stayed late to help other colleagues out, if you observe team members taking the extra special care of patients and family members, a team member who has exceeded expectations on a project, a team member has performed above expected standards, a group of team members demonstrating teamwork. So basically, and you might hear me say team members a lot because it's coming from the medical center side of this, but we want to make sure that we are recognizing everyone across the board and recognize great work and when they go above and beyond. And this slide here is what we wanted to talk to you guys about, is the recognition preference forms. We use this when the orientation, the first orientations when people first start, but we also as a part of the manager's toolkit, which is on the Rewards and Recognition website. It was on the HR website. That you can get this form here, and we will be sending this form out to everyone along with the toolkit after this meeting as well. We want to make sure that everyone is filling this out with that team member so that you know when how your team member like to be recognized. Like for myself, when Kate first introduced, she told you that I'm an introvert. I like to be recognized privately. I don't like to be recognized publicly in front of everyone. It puts me into, it makes me shy, basically. So you want to know how your team member like to be, or your staff, your colleague like to be recognized. And this form here helps you with that. And they might like going to the movies, and then you can get movie tickets for them. Or they may like candy, you can get that special candy for them. Or they might like a personal handwritten note to them. And this is a great way to learn them, and you can know how to recognize them and make it meaningful.
So at this point, we're going to open up our chat feature to questions. If you have specific questions, we want to give you some time to ask those today, but we also want to focus on these 3 questions. So George, if you could talk to us about how you can recognize your team members remotely. I know right now, a lot of us are working from home, or maybe our teams are kind of displaced. Maybe some people are working in an off and on schedule, so you might not see everyone all of the time like we're used to. How can we recognize those team members remotely?
The best way to recognize team members at this time, with remotely time, is to use personal handwritten notes. You can mail them notes to their homes, or schedule Zoom calls with them, phone calls with them, send them a text message if you have that personal phone number. Know that they're at home alone, you might want to check on them as leaders or as co-workers. Just check on them, let them know that you are recognized, that they are still working, they're going above and beyond to get the job done, and just schedule some time. I'm pretty sure you guys are still having Zoom team meetings. Use those team meetings as time to recognize team members as well, and colleagues as well. And you can do programs. You can still do your employee of the month. You can still do your you team member of the month. If you have a recognition that you guys have built in your area, still do that at this moment in time. And for rewards and recognition, we have, if you need more help with that, we have a new link on our website that you can send an email directly to us for consultation, where we can contact you directly and help you schedule programs according to how you like them in your department.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point, George. I do want to deviate away from our Q&A really quick, because I think that there's a great question that's kind of going to play off of this from our chat. So Maria asked, what can we do if we want the introvert's awesome performance to be used as an example for others? So if we want to highlight the work that they're doing, how can we go about doing that?
The best way to do it, for myself, if my manager, Curlin Cullen or Raymond Brown, if they come to me and say, George, we want to recognize you in front of your teammates for doing a great job, just give permission for them. Just don't do it without them knowing it. Because if you do it without them knowing, it's not going to feel like a recognition to them. It's going to make them feel very embarrassed. And we don't want to do that. We want them to feel like they are being recognized for the work they have done. So just give permission. Permission is always good.
I think that's a great piece of advice. Speaking of, making our employees feel comfortable and welcome back to work, can you talk about, do you have any tips for effective team members or recognizing team members post-furlough?
First of all, you want to be sensitive to them. You want to recognize that they have been affected by furlough. They're not only by the furlough, they have been affected by this COVID as well. So let's spend some time with them when they come back. Do some face-to-face one-on-ones with them. I know, we're kind of scared at this moment to do face-to-face conversation, but we'll have to get a little more comfortable with masks and have these face-to-face conversations and recognize how they're feeling. Acknowledge them. Let them tell you how they're feeling, how this affects them. We may not be able to fix it for them, but just allow them the space to be able to speak about it. Because they might not have anyone to talk to at home about this. And just recognize those feelings for them.
That's wonderful. And the last question that I have here is, what resources should we know about from a rewards and recognitions perspective? I know you talked earlier about sending some things out. Is there anything that people on the call today should be aware of or be excited to take a look at whenever we're finished with today's call?
To be excited about, we are in the process of revamping now the manager toolkit. And so if you go to our website, under the HR website, there are 2 links. There's one link for, it said formerly known as U-Team, that is for the medical center side, because there's a lot of activities that the medical center do have on their website as well. But there's a manager's toolkit, and we're also doing one for the academic side now as well, of all the things that are available for managers to use to recognize their staff and team members. And that is a great, thank you, Ashley. That is, if you go there and just look on there, and it can give you a lot of tips. Also, there is a link on there, and then you can go directly to us and get a consultation for one-on-ones with us. So someone just said fancy certificates. And there, you can go online. There's also in the toolkits, there is a Q&A in there. Also, there's low cost, no cost tips. And in there, you can go to Word and create certificates and print them off. And then if you have money in your budget, and I know right now we need to be good steward of our spending, but you can always go to the bookstore over in Newcomb Hall and use your Pete Pateo and purchase items and use them for a program that you want to build. And again, just reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you guys set up any type of programs that you knew. And the best part about it is that we'll work with you directly so that we know your area, so we can help you build a program in your area that will work good for you guys.
Wonderful. There is one other question in the chat that I want you to speak to if we have a few more moments here. I believe that we do. Will there be new reward point card distributed soon, or can you link to the store?
Great question. So what we have done, we have extended the 5-point cards that came out for FY20. This is in the UVA Health only. The academic side does not have the 5-point cards or 20-point cards yet, but that is something that we are working on. So right now, we are all where we have to be in good steward of our spending and watch what we're spending. But we did extend the 5-point cards that came out of FY20. We did extend this to December the 31st of this year. And if you need more, you can go to the manager store, which is on the website as well. And if you need access to the manager store, please send us an email to HR, and we will get you access to the manager store, and you can order more 5-point cards off of there. And we are writing up proposals now, trying to speak to leaders to see if we are able to do more 5-point cards. But at this time, we're not going to do any new ones at this moment. That's just at this moment. That could change next week. And School of Medicine, yes, you can use your Pateo as well.
Wonderful. And George, we will be sending out the link to the toolkit at the end, but Ashley has put it in the chat for you, just as a heads up there. So looks like there are a few other questions here. This May, the 5th, 10th, 15th, and 20-year recognitions were canceled. Will there be an effort to recognize folks for these milestones?
Absolutely. We do not want to miss anybody's milestone whatsoever. We're unable to do a large gathering because that would be over 250 people, but we are putting programs together now. You will be recognized this year. Putting up a couple different proposals in front of leaders to get approval for those, but it will happen and you will be recognized. I promise you that.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like we are almost out of time, so there's a few last minute things that I want to spend some time going over today. And that is, if you missed any of the sessions this week, from performance management to our first initial session, same skills, different strategies, to our establishing expectations for the next 100 days. All of these courses will be happening again next week at 9:30 a.m. And then we're also putting the recordings on the website here in the near future. We just need to wait for the sessions to be fully complete. So keep an eye out for an email with that information when they are live. We will post that. And then if you do have any requests, whether that is from our HR's talent community of expertise for learning and development or organizational development, or for rewards and recognition, you can put I'm going to put this in the chat really quick as we're talking. So I just put in the request form for service for our learning and development and organizational development request. And if you have questions for reward and recognition, you can reach out hr@virginia.edu for any requests for service. And then finally, we have a feedback form. We'd love to hear from you. Have these sessions been helpful? What do you need from us? We are here to make sure that you guys are getting the tools that you need to thrive during this pandemic. And I know that that is not an easy thing, but everyone is doing such amazing work right now. We want to make sure that if we can provide anything for you, that so with that being said, we'd love to hear your feedback. You can use the QR code on the screen by pulling your camera out or by clicking on the link in the chat. We'll also send this out at email at the end of today's session. But we are finished and out of time for today. So thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure talking with you all. George, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And with that being said, we'll hang on the line for a little bit if anyone has any last minute questions, but thank you so much for participating in our sessions this week.